And that's the way things work in this country. Our efforts on a volunteer basis had failed, and we were being told that given what we were doing, including already charging pretty cheaply, but charging for job postings, we should make it into a corporation. But we decided it would be a very unconventional corporation, running things in, well, for example, I asked our community what would be the right way to pay the bills. What would be the right charging philosophy for paying the bills, maybe doing better than that. And people told us we should charge advertisers who were already paying too much money for less effective advertising. And the strongest consensus was to charge employers and recruiters for job ads and to charge real estate agents. People had some other opinions too, and but to this date and time, we're charging for job postings in 11 cities to go up to 18 very shortly. We found that those other cities were attracting scammers, and you charge a few dollars and you chase them away. We're charging a very small fee for apartment listings in New York. Oddly enough, the people we're charging asked us to charge them. Their big reason is that it would cut down on the perceived need to post and repost, and that's worked. But the idea is that our site is still almost completely free. It's around 99% free, and that's the way we do things. That's the philosophy, again, of doing well as a business by doing good, and that's what feels right for ourselves. The deal is that, Jim and I both adhere to this idea of what I'm calling nerd values, which says that after you're doing well and providing for your future, then it's more fun to change things. And frankly, I'm an older guy now, and I haven't done any serious coding, or any coding really at all, since the end of '99. And now I do customer service. It was full time for many of the years from 95 to now. And since '99, I just gave up a technical role completely. I haven't had root access of any sort for years. Again, that statement would be hilarious for the programmers among us. And I do customer service for a living. Nothing noble in that. It just feels like the right thing to do, because I've been in companies too long where customer service was given lip service and not really followed through on. So today we are getting a lot of traffic, that 12 billion page views per month, or maybe more, 567 cities, unless Jim's decided to add some in the last half hour, which could have happened. It has happened once before in this kind of context. We are now a platform to help people with everyday stuff, like getting a job or getting a place to live, sometimes selling your stuff, or even getting a date. And these are all basic human things. We have our problems, but we persevere. The biggest problem that people complain about most is just we get hit by a lot of spam ads, and we are taking increasing actions against that, increasingly effective ones. We've cut down on a lot of the worst of them recently, and we have some other big steps in place that hopefully we'll be announcing really soon. We'll just see what happens. Somehow, since '95, we've built this culture of trust. And at first, people told me about it, and I didn't quite get it. I didn't quite how we worked. But the idea is that, in retrospect, only in recent years, let's say the last several years, have we been thinking about what makes us work. Because basically we're a classified site. I mean, we have discussion boards, but that's a very small part of what we do. We're a classified site, and somehow I couldn't get why people felt that we were a community site. But the idea is that from the beginning, the very beginning, we operated every day on the basis of this notion that you should treat people like you want to be treated. And that meant decent customer service. We have flaws, but we manage to do things. And in my case, I haven't done any customer service for about a half hour now, because I can do a lot with this phone. And we just follow through with that notion of treating people like you want to be treated. Again, that's in itself a platitude, a cliche. The difference is that we try really hard to follow through every day with that, and that's different. There are, again, companies which give lip service to this idea of customer service and treating people like you want to be treated, but we do follow through with the thing. We're getting it done every day. Not perfectly, but we try hard and do a credible job with the whole thing. And that works out pretty well with us. We've recently also that, again, we're a classified site, but beyond that, we're the online equivalent to a flea market. And something I realized some years ago in New York, in the East Village, stumbling onto a flea market, and I like them. I learned something I should have learned from my mother, because she loves to go to flea markets. She doesn't buy much, but she goes there mostly to socialize. And that's only been true for all of human history. You read about the Greek agora or the Roman forum. People went to those places to do business, but also to socialize and even to do politics, especially during the Roman Republic. And the deal is that there's a deep lesson in there for us. People like to go to marketplaces. That's a big part of our lives. Now we have malls. We're an online marketplace, an online flea market, and that satisfies deep human needs. Sure, we run this as something which is a for-profit on paper, but we follow through with our values, and again, the site is nearly 100% free. That tends to work for us. I do reflect on all these values again, and what I've learned doing this kind of thing for going on 14 years. Again, the big lessons have to do with this culture of trust, this idea of shared values. And I actually do speak to a lot of people overseas with all sorts of different ethnicities and backgrounds. And no matter where you are, where you're from, what your religious background is, the big shared value is that you should treat people like you want to be treated. Everywhere people talk about it, and people in small business often do follow through with that value. It's sometimes when you get to big businesses and big corporations that when you get someone up who's like 10 levels up in a corporate hierarchy, that's when people tend to forget those values. It's often because people who are good at climbing those hierarchies, sometimes they've been focusing on what it takes to get up there, and they forget what they learned in Sunday school or the equivalent thereof. That's one reason we're trying to keep the organization flat, and that's one reason why I respect and admire what Google's doing, because the Google guys, Larry and Sergey, are trying to remember that, hence their don't be evil philosophy. They do have to make tough decisions, and sometimes we may not agree with them all, but they're trying hard. I went recently to Google Zeitgeist, which is their partner conference, and saw them following through by being really serious about green technology, talking about how they're actually doing it. I saw Eric Schmidt badgering Jeffrey Immelt, the head of GE, trying to talk him into getting early delivery of an electricity-generating windmill. That technology is actually ready to go, and I didn't quite get that until recently. There's forms of solar power which are actually ready to go. They're cost effective now, and I didn't get that. And what the deal is that there are a lot of people from major American corporations there who didn't get that those technologies are ready to go. They were as behind as I was. I found myself sitting next to Michael Dell at one point. I didn't quite get it, but I took advantage of the fact that he was carrying a notebook, which I'm considering getting, so we just geeked out for a little while. I'm fond of the really light notebooks, and in general, my tech staff is under direction to distract me with gadgets, because that way I won't be tempted to help. And that's That's very wise on their part. I don't allow myself to go to the computer part of bookstores, even though I used to haunt them, because I see exciting new technologies, all of which I'm out of touch with, but their fear is that I might buy one of those teach yourself books, which is how I learned all the new web technologies back in '95. And the one skill that I've retained is how to learn this stuff. And so